Welcome to my channel Siprotec. Today we will see how to configure relay settings in Siemens make Siprotec relays. So let us start the configuration with Dixie 4.9, and you can see we are having the setting files we have downloaded earlier. Click on open object from this file and click on offline and OK. Now you can enter the setting properties from this in this way, but what we cannot do in this way is we cannot change the device configuration. Now device configuration is basically the various features of the relay which we are going to use or we don't want to use. So we can select that through device configuration. We can enable or disable the features which we want to use or we don't want to use. So this device configuration can be accessed through another process, and we will proceed in this video through that process where device configuration can also be done. Now here you can change various other things, various other settings, but which is already there in the relay. So basically when a setting is uploaded to a relay and then downloaded from the relay, then we can only change the settings and not enable the features or disable any feature. So to enable or disable any features of the relay, first we need to access the device catalog. From the device catalog we need to select the relay on which we are going to work. So here we are having 7SA522 and version 4.7. So we need to enter the MLFB number. So we are going to put the MLFB number in this dialog box, which is actually going to configure that which kind of relay I am having or which kind of relay I am going to configure will be first disclosed to the Dixie, and then Dixie will create a template file on which we are going to do all the configuration, or we are going to put all the settings. So creation of the template file from the device catalog is done. Now we are going to open this object in offline. I am giving a new name to this device. And in the same way as I have shown earlier, I am going to open it offline. And then we will do all the settings and then initialize this to the device. Once it gets initialized, then all the settings will get transferred to the device. So first of all, I am opening the template. This is not connected to the device. I am just opening the template file which I have created using the MLFB number. MLFB basically denotes the type of relay I am going to work with. So let's open the setting and then device configuration. Here you can see that all those various features which are there in the relay of this kind of MLFB can be either enabled or disabled, as it is not uploaded in, it has not been uploaded into the relay till now. So I can change the various configuration settings. So suppose I am going to include distance protection, I am going to enable distance protection, then DT we don't need, direct trip, then backup I don't need, I am going to use one cycle AR. So in this way the things which I need I have configured it. Now here you can see that we are having the masking input output configuration and CFC, which we will cover in separate video. Now first of all we are going to configure the power system 1 settings. Power system 1 setting basically contains the setting of various CT ratio and all other things. In power system 1 we will change all the various settings which we need. Suppose it will be solidly earth, star will be solidly earth or not, then sequence, then frequency, then RERL and XCXL ratio we will consider for compensation, or K0 and K0 magnitude will be considered. All these inputs we need to give in power system 1. Then various settings of the breaker, then comes in the setting group A, that is power system 2. Here we are going to mention the full scale current, full scale voltage, angle of the line, and then the X line, that is the reactance of the line per unit length, that is the positive sequence reactance divided by the length of the line. Now all these things will first be calculated separately in a Excel sheet, and then one by one we will feed all the various details or various parameters which has been calculated in the Excel sheet into this setting files. Line length and then compensation factors, all these things will be calculated separately in the Excel file. As you can see here, we have calculated it separately. In case of Siemens relay, one very important thing is to be kept in mind is that Siemens relay takes the input in the form of resistance and reactance, R and X, whereas some of the relay like MyCom relays and some other relays which takes the input in the form of Z and angle, that is impedance and angle. So both the things we have calculated, whatever we need in which relay we feed the parameters accordingly. The calculation sheet is a common, and when we need reactance and resistance value we put them in that way, and when we need the Z magnitude and Z angle value we put it in that way. next setting is the general distance setting. In this setting, the various general settings of distance protection will be entered, and the most important thing in this setting is the time delays. In the time delay, we generally used to put 0 time delay for zone 1 faults, whether line fault or line to earth fault, line to line fault or line to earth fault. Then zone 2 settings are generally 350 millisecond, and zone 3 are 1 millisecond. Zone 4 will see in the reverse direction, and that is 160 millisecond, and other zones we don't need, that's why we will not change anything in those two. Now once we enter the time delay in this setting, it will get carry forwarded to the next setting, that is distance quadrilateral setting, where also we will get the time settings. Now zone 1B is actually the extension of zone 1 where the aided trip will work, or the aided trip will operate. Next, the quadrilateral zone setting, that is where the first zone 1 will be the 80% setting, it will be in the forward direction, and the value of the R and X we will get it from the Excel sheet we have prepared earlier, already prepared. And now you can see the time setting values here in these settings are actually taken from the time delay values on the previous settings. And zone 1B extension setting is used during the auto-reclose function also, as well as the edit trip function, which is actually the 100% line setting values. Then comes zone 2. After this setting comes zone 2 and zone 3. Now this extension value is actually in the zone 2, but it is separately shown because we are going to use the auto-reclose function for this setting as well as the edit trip function for 100% of the line settings. So next is the zone 2 value, zone 2 settings. Zone 2 setting is the complete line setting, 100% of the line and 50% of the adjacent line, and zone 3 setting is 100% of this line and 100% of the next longest line. All will be in the forward direction. Only zone 4 setting, which we designed for the reverse direction of 2 km. And now all the zones are created, and if we click on the graph, it will show how the zone settings will look like and how much zone it is going to cover through this setting. Next is the power swing setting. Power swing setting does not have any much more to do. It is only all zones will be blocked during the power swing, that's all. Now this is the teleprotection setting, or the aided trip setting we can say, because the carrier signal which we receive is through this. And then there is the supervision setting, which is basically for the VT fuse fail and broken conductor. All those settings will be entered through this setting. These are not the basic distance protection function, but these are the various features which are used along with the distance protection, that is broken conductor, VT fuse fail. Then comes a very important function, that is the auto-reclose function. In auto-reclose function, it is need to be kept on, and we are going to use a single phase auto-reclose, and here we need to enter various time settings. For the auto-reclose function, that is, and which auto-reclose we are going to include, that is the single phase auto-reclose, that will work with the single phase trip. Reclaim time, that is 25 seconds we use. Then the operating time, single phase auto-reclose operating time, date time, these things we need to enter in this setting. Now 3-phase auto-reclose are also used in some cases, but we don't use 3-phase auto-reclose and we will keep it disabled. 3-phase auto-reclose will be kept disabled, and breaker timing etc. also comes with this setting. Now it's all done. And then fault location setting. Fault locator setting will be with trip only. We will not take the fault location otherwise. Then trip circuit supervision setting, we are taking only one trip circuit and 2 binaries will be used for one trip circuit supervision setting. These all are extra functions which we'll take. Now it's all done, and when it is all done we can send it through Dixie to device, but we are going to initialize this, so we don't need to click on Dixie to device. Next is the oscillographic fault record function, that is the DR which gets recorded. Now DR will be recorded with the trip only. Sometime it is also made that it will work with the start of any event, but we will consider it, we will consider or we will save the dr with the trip function. Otherwise a lot of dr gets accumulated and the actual dr which are of use are cannot be found on the device, on the relay. Then another important thing is this time synchronization setting. As we have used, we will connect this device through a LAN to a network, so we are going to use the SNTP. Otherwise there are other forms of time synchronization method. In case of SNTP we need to use 5.30 time offset, and that's all. We have saved the settings. All the setting is saved. Now to send this setting to the device, we will need to enter the various communication address, communication interface. We can enter the IP address and all if we want to send it through Ethernet. Otherwise we can simply do it through the serial communication, and we need to initialize the device. On initialization of the device, the complete setting which we have created in this template file will get uploaded to the relay or to the device. So that's all. And another important thing to show is which function we want to consider in the DR. We can do that through this masking input output operation. We just need to open this masking input output and right click on any of the thing which we want to include in the DR, and as you can see we need to tick this dialog box. As it is already ticked, that means it is already there in the DR. So whenever a fault is triggered, the things which we will tick here will get included in the DR. Just we need to right click on the function which we want to include in the DR and go to the properties. All are already taken in the DR, so let's find here. We have seen, just we need to tick it and OK. Distance zone 1 line to earth. So this 3 L1 L2 L3 to earth fault will be considered in the DR. So that's all for this configuration, how to configure a Siprotec relay. I am going to make a completely new video on input output masking operation and CFC, which will take some time. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching my video.